It's time for the biggest party of the summer, and we're kicking things off with the Queen of the Ring, Jade Cargill, challenging Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship. Two of the best uber athletes WWE has today in the women's division are facing off against one another tonight in the opening match of the first night of SummerSlam. Jade Cargill shows off her power, and she successfully outpowers Tiffany Stratton at the start of the match, but Tiffany tries to fight back in her own way, in her own style of athleticism. But Cargill is focused and has complete control of the match as she gets the upper hand against Tiffany Stratton, and she mocks the WWE Women's Champion by doing some push-ups. And when Tiffany sees what Cargill is doing, she gets frustrated, so she runs at her, but Cargill has everything under control, and Tiffany can't do a single thing about it. Cargill continues gaining momentum in the match, where at some point, Tiffany Stratton tries to roll on the apron, trying to recover, and she successfully does that, because when Cargill wants to strike, the attack is countered with a forearm, which forces Cargill to roll out of the ring, and this is the place that Tiffany Stratton has the chance to regain the momentum she needs. And as always, Tiffany Stratton is going to create memorable moments as she climbs the barricade and dives with a blockbuster off it to take down the Queen of the Ring. The crowd is behind her, and she climbs the ropes as she sends Cargill back in the ring and dives with a beautiful dropkick from the top rope. And now Stratton has the upper hand against Jade Cargill. She finally manages to deliver the splash, and she's trying her best to keep down Jade Cargill. She follows it up with her beautiful big dropkick right to the face of the Queen of the Ring, followed by a moonsault, but it's a near fall. Jade Cargill is not planning to give up this easy. She tries to regroup by moving onto the apron, but she cannot do the same thing because Tiffany drags her back in the ring. However, when she dives for the swanton, Jade Cargill moves and nails her with the big time pub kick instead. Tiffany rolls out of the ring, but Cargill joins her there. She counters her attack and smashes her face onto the apron. And this is the moment the crazy thing happens, because when Cargill picks up Tiffany up on her shoulders, she throws her gut first into the steel post and climbs the ropes. But Tiffany manages to recover, and she joins her up there and delivers a massive superplex, crashing hard down to the mat. Cargill is down, but Tiffany somehow manages to get back to her feet as she climbs the ropes and dives with a beautiful swanton. But it's a near fall as Jade Cargill survives. Tiffany Stratton is frustrated, so she sends Cargill into the corner and delivers a couple of brutal chops, but the third one is blocked by Jade Cargill and is followed with a thunderous chokeslam to the WWE Women's Champion. And now Tiffany Stratton is down, and Cargill wants to take advantage, and she does. She dives with a beautiful frog splash. But it's a kick out from Tiffany at 2. Cargill cannot believe it. She thought this was it, but it wasn't. So she wastes no more time as she wants to jade it, but Tiffany somehow manages to transition that into a Fujiwara armbar. The submission is applied, and when Tiffany inflicted as much damage as possible, she follows it up with the beautiful Alabama Slam, which puts Cargill in the drop zone for the prettiest moonsaults ever. But Cargill moves out of the harm's way at the very last millisecond and delivers a jaded face first onto the turnbuckle. She follows it up with one more, but before hitting it, she walks around the ring with Tiffany lifted up, dropping her face first down on the mat. And that's it. The Storm has arrived to win championships. Jade Cargill successfully wins her first ever singles title in WWE, as the Queen of the Ring is now your WWE Women's Champion. But the next match is not about any championships. It's pure bad blood, a rivalry that has been continuing between Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross for a very long time. And Sami wants to end this as soon as possible, so he charges for an early haluva kick, but Karrion Kross moves out of the ring and he only laughs at him. But Sami wants to join him with the dive, but as he goes to the ropes, Karrion Kross comes back to the apron and takes down Sami with a headbutt. The look on Karrion Kross' face says everything. He wants to play mind games as always, and he takes down Sami with a sidewalk slam before kneeling down to punch him hard in the face. And while he's punching, he says, "Wake up, Sami. I know this is not you. Show them who you are." The punishment, yeah, it is a punishment, continues by Karrion Kross as he's manhandling Sami Zayn. He believes that this is not the real Sami Zayn, and Sami, to prove that wrong, fights back against Karrion Kross. A beautiful DDT. He tries to fight back as much as he can, and he sends him at ringside before delivering a beautiful Arabian press off the ropes. They return to the ring and Sami wants a Helluva Kick, but Karrion Kross catches them with the familiar style of Exploder Suplex. Then he follows it up with an Avalanche Doomsday Saito Suplex from the top rope, landing spine first as the knee is delivered so Karrion Kross could line him up, sending him in position for a crosshammer, which unbelievably Sami dodges and lifts him up instead for a blue Thunderbomb. But a kick out by Karrion Kross in 2 keeps him alive in this matchup. Sami continues to take him down. He delivers another DDT, but it's another near fall as Karrion Kross doesn't want to give up. At some point, Scarlett picks up a steel chair from under the ring and places it in the middle of the ring. Meanwhile, Sami delivers an Exploder Suplex, which puts Karrion Kross in position for the Helluva Kick. But this is the exact same moment where Scarlett goes up on the apron to distract the referee. As the referee is distracted, we see this steel chair in the middle of the ring, which is picked up by Sami Zayn. He's hesitating again. Is he going to use it? The referee is still distracted, but Scarlett can't keep the referee distracted more than this, so he returns and he grabs the steel chair. He thought Sami was about to use it, but this was the time Karrion Kross needed to recover to deliver the cross hammer. But Sami Zayn grabs the ropes at 2.9. He keeps himself alive in this matchup, but Karrion Kross drops some important words. Say it, Sami. You can't beat me. Admit this is not the real Sami Zayn. Admit it. But Sami Zayn refuses to. Instead, he is fired up and just fights back against Karrion Kross. A big time dropkick, and it sends him into the corner. Sami Zayn delivers a couple of brutal punches into the face, and he starts a face wash combo. He delivers massive boots, boots after boots after boots, until the point Karrion Kross is busted open. Sami Zayn is infuriated, and he follows it up with a Helluva Kick style of boot. Then we see Scarlett distracting the referee again. So this gives Karrion Kross the chance to recover, but instead of attacking him, this time he tells Sami Zayn, "You see me, Sami? You see this face? This is who you really are. This is because of you. You are the reason I'm drawn with blood. Admit, just admit that the smile on your face is fake. Just say it. Say, I am right." Well, maybe Karrion Kross is right, but Sami Zayn refuses to listen to him as he delivers another Helluva Kick. But as the referee is still distracted, he turns his attention to ringside, where the steel chair is there. Sami Zayn is considering the option of using that steel chair. He leaves the ring, and unbelievably, he picks it up. Is he going to use it? Is he really going to use it against Karrion Kross? No. He changes his mind. This is not who he really is. But at what cost? Because Karrion Kross has recovered. He lifts Sami up and nails him with the final prayer and hooks his leg. For a 1, 2, 3. So Karrion Kross, who seemed banged up, could earn the biggest victory of his life at the biggest party of the summer against Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn lost. He still refused to accept what Karrion Kross believes. But that's gonna be a whole different story. Now, we're gonna pay attention to a match that involves musicians, social media stars, and of course, the best wrestlers this business has to offer, where Jelly Roll is going to team up with Randy Orton to take on the Scottish Warrior Drew McIntyre, who's teaming up with the man who is called the social media megastar, but now claims to be a WWE superstar, and that is the exact same reason he got beef with Jelly Roll. Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre started things off where Randy has the upper hand at the start of it, but after a couple of punches, after a couple of attacks, Drew McIntyre finally manages to counter and take Randy Orton down with a massive clothesline. And that is the start of the beatdown that Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul are going to continue on the Viper, because this unlikely team has a chemistry that no one expected they have. And Jelly Roll wants to tag Randy Orton in, but Drew McIntyre is not letting him. Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul are trying their best to keep Randy Orton down because they don't want to see Jelly Roll in the middle of a WWE ring. And at some point where Logan Paul is lining Randy up for a buckshot lariat, he's about to get caught with an RKO, but he escapes at the very last second. He leaves the ring, but Randy wants to join him there too. However, Logan Paul, with a smart decision, returns to the ring and is mocking Randy Orton. Randy, though, returns to the ring and catches him with a big-time clothesline into the corner and continues gaining momentum. And at some point, Logan Paul manages to tag Drew McIntyre in, where Randy Orton is going to tag Jelly Roll, but before he could reach him, Drew McIntyre takes him down, and he wants to take him down again, but this time he is caught with a power slam. But Randy was attacked many times, so he does not have enough gas left in the tank to make a regular tag. He makes a hot tag with Jelly Roll, as Logan Paul tags himself in as well. Now these two are the two legal competitors of the matchup, where Logan Paul tries to force Jelly Roll to back down, but he's not. He's fighting back against Logan Paul, and he's fired up. However, Logan Paul tries to fight back with his boxing background, but he collides with Jelly Roll like he's collided with a wall. And Jelly Roll continues showing off his new wrestling abilities. Splash after splash, suplex after suplex, and he is fired up. The crowd is completely behind him, but this is the time Logan Paul needed to tag Drew McIntyre in, so the Scottish Warrior becomes a legal competitor. However, Jelly Roll tries to fight back against him, but Drew McIntyre makes him experience the beatdown of his life. Drew McIntyre is manhandling the big musician, and the double teams continue between him and Logan Paul. But after a splash from Logan Paul, Randy Orton breaks things up as he returns, but Drew McIntyre drags him out of the ring. These two men are now fighting with each other at ringside, where eventually Randy Orton gets the upper hand, and Jelly Roll somehow manages to deliver a German suplex to Logan Paul. As Randy Orton gets back to the apron, he wants Jelly Roll to tag, and he does, and Randy Orton fires at Logan Paul with different maneuvers, clotheslines, power slams, and his signature spike DDT, smashing Logan Paul's head. Then he calls for the three most dangerous letters in all of sports entertainment, RKO, and he nails it. But before he could capitalize, before he could go for the cover, Drew McIntyre nails him with the Claymore, which brings Jelly Roll back in the ring. One more time, these two men are confronting one another, where Drew McIntyre is underestimating Jelly Roll, but he somehow manages to counter his attacks and delivers a massive Glasgow kiss and calls for the Claymore. But Jelly Roll manages to catch him with a beautiful side slam. He is fired up. He just took down the biggest man of the match. Logan Paul tries to deliver that right hand punch, but Jelly Roll delivers a big time choke slam, and he tags Randy in so they could deliver a beautiful double team, some sort of an inverted RKO, and Randy follows it up with one more to Logan Paul and covers him to earn this massive victory at SummerSlam. A great performance by Jelly Roll, this time in the middle of the ring. Jelly Roll and Randy Orton successfully beat Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul to shut them up once and for all. But we move on, and now it's time for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match, where the titles are on the line, where Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair are challenging the Judgment Day, Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. A generational face-off kicks things off in the middle of the match as Charlotte Flair, the 14-time Women's World Champion, is competing against Roxanne Perez, one of the brightest and youngest stars WWE has today. And she has the upper hand at the start of the match, but Roxanne tries to fight back as well. The double teams start to happen as Roxanne tags in with Raquel, and now two powerhouses of two groups are now fighting against one another. Raquel Rodriguez is throwing Charlotte Flair all around the ring like she's nothing, and the double teams continue. Roxanne Perez is also showing off her abilities, where at some point Charlotte finally makes a tag with Alexa Bliss, and that is the start of their team getting the upper hand, because Alexa Bliss is fresh and with her own unique tactics, with her own unique style, wears down Roxanne Perez. Roxanne, though, counters the attack at some point and lands a beautiful twisting splash onto Alexa Bliss, but that's only for a near fall because Alexa is not willing to give up. not willing to give up this championship match that she's competing in with an ally, not a friend. But she's trying her best to keep down Roxanne, but at some point where Roxanne makes a tag with Raquel, Raquel is the reason of the differences. The powerhouse of the Judgment Day is handling both Alexa and Charlotte, where at some point Raquel wants a power bomb. Charlotte arrives with a chop block from behind, and she somehow, we can say, saved Alexa Bliss. And Charlotte just tells her, do it. This is the chance. And Alexa does. She climbs the ropes, and from the top, she lands the Twisted Bliss onto Raquel Rodriguez. But as she's covering Raquel, Roxanne returns to the ring to break things up. She goes back to the apron, but this time Charlotte goes after Roxanne, tossing her into the announce table. Then Charlotte tags herself in and locks in the figure 8 leg lock on Raquel Rodriguez. Raquel has nowhere to go. She was just hit with a Twisted Bliss, and Alexa is here to protect any other interferences as well, which she cannot prevent Roxanne from taking her out of the ring. And Roxanne dives with a big knee onto Charlotte and takes her down to break everything up. Raquel tags Roxanne in, and the Prodigy successfully takes down Charlotte with the Pop Rocks and stacks her up. But at the very last second, Alexa arrives with a big knee. She takes Roxanne down, but Raquel takes Alexa down. Charlotte returns, and she takes Raquel down with a massive spear. Roxanne is the legal competitor, and Charlotte sends her into the corner. Raquel runs at her, but Charlotte moves, and Raquel accidentally takes down Roxanne. Out of nowhere, Charlotte Flair arrives with a supernatural selection from the top to take down Raquel, and she wants to do the same thing with a classic natural selection to Roxanne, but Roxanne somehow manages to transition that into a roll-up, but at 2.9, Charlotte manages to kick out. Then Alexa tags herself in, where Roxanne doesn't realize. She delivers a tilt-a-whirl facebuster, but Alexa arrives, and from behind, she delivers the Abigail DDT. For a 3 count, which gives her and Charlotte Flair the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. They are not still friends, but their alliance helped them to win the championships. And even though they're not friends, they're enjoying this alliance, as they are now your new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. But another tag team match is one of the 2 main events of the show, where the original Tribal Chief returns to in-ring action for the first time since WrestleMania, where he's teaming up with his cousin, Main Event Jey Uso, to take on 2 of the best of the future bright talents of WWE, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Jey Uso and Braun Breaker start things off in this tag team matchup, where early in the match, Jey Uso has the upper hand as he delivers a couple of punches. He has the upper hand against Braun Breaker because he has the support from the crowd, and for the classic bloodline gesture, he puts the wands to the sky, as well as yeeting. But as Jey Uso is having fun, is interrupted by Braun Breaker. However, Jey manages to still yeet in the middle of the match. But for how long? Because Braun Breaker is pissed off, and now he starts to beat the hell out of Jey Uso. He's also mocking Roman Reigns in front of him, taunting him, while he's also aware of Jey Uso, not letting him to arrive from behind. He has the complete control of the match, and he's proving why he is called the Unpredictable Badass, while he's called the Big Project, while he's called the future main eventer of WrestleMania. Well, not just Braun Breaker, but Bronson Reed as well. He's showing off his own power and talent as well. He manhandles Jey Uso like he's nothing. The big man, with his giant physique, uses his raw power to prevent Jey Uso from tagging Roman Reigns in. And we can say they're punishing Jey Uso, because after those yeetings, Jey Uso did absolutely nothing. And in front of Roman Reigns, Bronson Reed delivers a Samoan drop. And we can understand that that was not a simple Samoan drop. That had a message with it. And even though Jey Uso tries to tag with Roman Reigns, he is caught with some heavy moves such as sentons, which prevents him from saving himself. At some point where Bronson Reed leaves Jey up, he finally manages to counter and clotheslines Bronson Reed out of the ring. He wants to tag with Roman, but Braun Breaker illegally interrupts where Jey moves and sends him out of the ring. Reed returns, but Jey manages to counter his attack as well. and with a very small amount of gas left in the tank, he tags in Roman Reigns. The crowd explodes. The Tribal Chief returns to in-ring action for the first time since WrestleMania, and he's manhandling Bronson Reed like he's nothing. It seems Roman Reigns is more powerful than ever. He's beating the living hell out of Bronson Reed. He sends him into the corner, and after delivering a splash, he lifts him up. A simply delivered body slam by Roman Reigns. People are on their feet, and things even get more interesting where Braun Breaker enters the ring. This face-off is a dream match we want to see. And for now, we're getting the tag team version of it, and we're still enjoying it. For now, Roman Reigns has the upper hand against Braun Breaker. He's delivering numerous clotheslines. And at some point, he delivers his famous drive-by dropkick. And while he's still at ringside, Bronson Reed, who's still the legal competitor, tries to take advantage of this numbers game, but Roman Reigns is still aware of everything. He takes down Bronson Reed as well, and the crowd is chanting OTC. He sends him back in the ring, and he takes him down with a Superman punch. He lines him up for the spear. Bronson Reed is in position, but Roman cannot deliver the spear. Instead, he's caught with a Death Valley driver. Bronson tags Braun Breaker in, and Braun climbs the ropes, and from the top, he delivers a massive bulldog to Roman Reigns. Roman is done, and Braun for the cover. But Roman is not done. He's still alive. He tags Bronson Reed again and keeps Roman Reigns in the corner for a move, but they're interrupted by Jey Uso as Jey delivers a massive kick right to the face of Bronson Reed, and Roman manages to free himself as well, and then he follows it up by logging Braun Breaker in the guillotine. Braun has nowhere to go, but he has the power to break free. Braun Breaker manages to get out of the guillotine, and he manhandles Roman Reigns by dropping him down with a massive exploder. At ringside, the fight between Jey Uso and Bronson Reed is still going on. Remember, Bronson Reed is the legal competitor, and he manages to take down Jey Uso. While in the ring, Braun is looking for a spear, but he's caught with a spear by Roman Reigns. Roman hits him with one spear of his own, and he sends Braun Breaker out of the ring. This is when Bronson Reed returns, and he confronts Roman Reigns again. He tries to strike, but Roman Reigns counters, takes him down, and sends him into the corner. Roman Reigns has complete control of the match until Bronson Reed counters his attack, drops him down, and dodges with a standing senton, crushing the ribs of the Tribal Chief. Then he goes for the tsunami. He dodges, but Roman Reigns manages to move out of harm's way at the very last millisecond, and he shows off his power again. He lifts him up for a big-time Samoan drop. Jay's back on the apron as well. Bronson into the corner. He wants to tag with Jay, but as he's there, Braun Breaker makes a blind tag, which Roman doesn't realize. He goes after Bronson Reed. He puts him on the top turnbuckle, and he lifts the big man up again. The entire arena shakes after this massive Samoan drop. And then Roman puts Bronson Reed in position for Jay for the Uso splash. But then he sees Braun Breaker returning. He leaps over Roman Reigns. So Roman goes out of the ring. He jumps on the top rope for a beautiful Breaker Steiner to Jey Uso. And he falls for the cover. But Jay somehow survives and kicks out. Braun Breaker wants to cut Jay in half with a spear. But Jay somehow manages to move. He dodges and sends Braun flying in the air. He delivers a super kick, wants to follow it up with a spear, when he's cut in half with a Braun Breaker spear. And then he goes for the cover. But Roman Reigns drags Braun Breaker out, saving the matchup, keeping Jey Uso alive in this matchup. And at ringside, Roman Reigns is punishing the busted open Braun Breaker. However, Bronson Reed dives through the ropes to take down Roman Reigns. But as he's taunting, Jey Uso dives on him with a suicide dive of his own. Then he sends the legal competitor of the opposite team, Braun Breaker, back in the ring to follow it up with a massive Uso splash. Braun Breaker kicks in two. No one can believe the rise. Bronson Reed tries to interrupt, but Jey Uso is aware of him, tosses him back in the ring, wants to deliver a yeet right hand. But then Bronson Reed picks him up, and then we see Paul Heyman on the apron distracting the referee, so Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed could do an illegal double team, an assisted gutbuster to Jey Uso, and Heyman did what he wanted to do, so he calms down off the apron. But then he turns his attention and he sees someone Looking at him, it's Sami Zayn. Paul Heyman tries to escape and Sami Zayn chases him. He's done with carrying Cross and he wants to return so he could finish his unfinished business. But the Brawns deliver a massive double power bomb to Jey Uso. But before they could go for the cover, Roman Reigns arrives and delivers a massive spear to Braun Breaker. Bronson Reed tries to lift Roman Reigns up, but Roman manages to calm down. And this is when Jey Uso arrives and saves Roman Reigns with a spear of his own. A super kick to Bronson Reed, followed by a spear by Roman Reigns, while Jey Uso dives on Braun Breaker to take him out as Roman Reigns gets the 3 count. So the OG Bloodline earns this massive victory over Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Roman Reigns returns with the win. And a throwback to those good old days in the Bloodline. They put their wands to the sky and they're celebrating, they're yeeting, where the turn of events happens. Sami Zayn snaps. He just kicked his brother in the face. He helped them because he wanted them to celebrate so he could ruin the celebration. Maybe he finally accepted that carrying Cross was right. Roman Reigns is frozen in disbelief. He's shouting at Sami Zayn that why did he do this? And Sami Zayn is just looking at a man who he used to call the tribal chief and may no more. He just leaves the ring. One of the most shocking turn of events at SummerSlam. Sami Zayn owes us answers. But we will not get that for now. But we can get the answer of the question. Who will be the World Heavyweight Champion by the end of the night? Will it be CM Punk? Will it be Gunther? These two men will battle it out here in the main event of Night 1 of SummerSlam, where the biggest prize of Monday Night Raw, the World Heavyweight Championship, it's on the line. CM Punk and Gunther start this match by locking up. CM Punk quickly turns that into a headlock, but he thinks he has Gunther in that headlock because Gunther sends him off the ropes and takes him down with the back elbow. Gunther believes CM Punk has nothing to prove himself. Punk, though, tries to prove Gunther wrong as he fights back against him, but Gunther has some chops that no one can resist against. And Gunther starts doing what he told Punk he will do, and that is to punish, that is to break CM Punk in half, and he is doing the exact same thing. However, we see in Gunther the signs of underestimating his opponent again. This cost him the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 40 against Sami Zayn, and cost him the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 41 against Jey Uso. Could this cost him his second World Heavyweight Championship against CM Punk in the main event of SummerSlam? Well, at least for now, he has the control of the match because CM Punk dives and he just crashes down hard. And then is caught with a massive chop which takes him down. He immediately follows it up with a submission. A Dragon Sleeper is locked in, but CM Punk has enough gas left in the tank to slip out of the submission as quick as possible. It delivers a couple of slaps, which sends Gunther into the corner, the exact same position Punk wants him to be, to deliver his signature knee strikes. Then he sends Gunther out of the ring and dives on him through the ropes with his beautiful suicide dive. Punk is trying to do everything it takes to win the World Heavyweight Championship after more than a decade. He does some push-ups to prove that he still got it, which makes Gunther frustrated. However, Punk still has the upper hand as he sends Gunther back in the ring and he takes him down once again, this time with a springboard clothesline. We're seeing the signs of the young, fresh CM Punk in this version of him. A knee in a corner, he sends Gunther to the opposite corner, another knee by the best in the world, followed by a clothesline. He's gaining the momentum he needs, but when he goes for the fourth knee of the match, he is caught by Gunther. He is caught with a powerbomb, but he's not successful to completely hit him with one, because Punk comes down, and he manages to throw the big man with an exploder suplex. CM Punk is doing his best. He's doing whatever he can, and that includes a dive with the knee, which Gunther moves, and Punk hurts himself instead. Gunther immediately follows it up with the powerbomb and stacks him up. but a kick out by Punk keeps him alive in this matchup. But now Gunther knows that Punk has a bad knee, so he immediately follows it up with a Boston Crab. A Boston Crab has cinched it, and Punk is screaming in pain. He tries to get himself into the bottom rope, and he somehow reaches it, so Gunther has to let go. But as CM Punk tries to get back to his feet, Gunther is not leaving him alone. He drops him throat first onto the ropes and stomps the bad leg. Gunther wants to take advantage of this injury that CM Punk is inflicted with, but at some point when he climbs the ropes, CM Punk manages to counter and take him down. A couple of kicks, a roundhouse kick, keeps down Gunther, so this gives CM Punk the chance so he could climb the ropes and dive with his famous elbow drop right to the heart of the World Heavyweight Champion. At 2.9, the World Heavyweight Champion kicks out, but then CM Punk calls for the GTS. He calls for Gunther, get up to his feet, but as he lifts him up, the knee gives out. His knee hurts badly, and that was the chance Gunther needed to recover and lock CM Punk in the sleeper hold. But Punk somehow finds a way to get out of it and transition that into a pinning combination, which Gunther kicks out at the very last moment. But he doesn't have the momentum anymore because CM Punk manages to keep Gunther up on his shoulders so he could deliver the GTS. But Gunther kicks out. Gunther somehow survives. But Punk is not done yet. Punk slams him down with a Uranagi, then he locks him in the Anaconda Vice. He locks Gunther in the Anaconda Vice, and Gunther has nowhere to go. Gunther may tap out to lose the World Heavyweight Championship again, but no. He finds a way by delivering a couple of knees, and he delivers a massive lariat right to the chest of CM Punk, where he climbs the ropes and dives on Punk with the massive splash. But for a near fall, it's a near fall. CM Punk is still in this matchup, and Gunther wants to end Punk. He wants a powerbomb, which Punk counters, and he delivers an unbelievably beautiful maneuver, a massive lariat by CM Punk, which turns Gunther inside out. Then he locks him in the Anaconda Vice again. The Anaconda Vice is cinched in again. Gunther may tap out, just like WrestleMania 41, where he lost the World Heavyweight title. No. He slips out, but this time he keeps the momentum, and he lifts CM Punk up for another thunderous powerbomb. Kick out by Punk at 2.9. He still has some gas left in the tank. And when Gunther climbs the ropes again, Punk joins him up there for the first ever Pepsi plunge in WWE. But CM Punk's knees hurt as most as you could imagine. But he stands on his 2 feet. He calls for Gunther for another GTS. But while he's walking around with Gunther, he takes down the referee. Then he delivers the GTS. But CM Punk doesn't have enough gas left in the tank as well. He falls down just like Gunther. The crowd is loving what they're watching. And after a couple of seconds, CM Punk gets back to his feet. But what happens next is interesting. Tsunami by Bronson Reed to Gunther. What the hell is going on? CM Punk is asking the exact same question, but before he could realize what is going on, he's cut in half with a spear by Braun Breaker. What could this mean? You know it. Burn it down! Mr. Money in the Bank arrives. Seth Rollins is here. It is obvious that he's still injured. He's limping to the ring. Then we see Paul Heyman arriving in the ring with another referee to cash in the Money in the Bank contract. Rollins drops the crutch he arrived with, and he uses the steel steps to enter the ring. The injured Seth Rollins does not want to miss this opportunity. A stomp to Gunther, and another stomp to CM Punk. But the knee hurts so bad. The knee is injured, but Rollins somehow, some way manages to cover CM Punk again to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. Heist of the Century 2.0. He told everyone that CM Punk will never win the World Heavyweight Championship as long as Seth Rollins is standing on his 2 feet. Well, he's not even standing on his own 2 feet. But he did. He prevented Punk from winning it. And Seth Rollins is your new World Heavyweight Champ.